Let's go. It is December the 17th, 2018. I couldn't make a reaction video yesterday because honestly, I sound like a broken record right now, right? Predictable play calling on offense, missed opportunities, and nonsensical special teams that just absolutely blows my mind. So I held off, right? I held off. Like, what was the point of me doing a breakdown on yesterday's game? Because it's ridiculous. Instead, I decided I was going to wait a little while, right? Getting ready to head into work today. Let me talk about a couple things that's on my mind. One being Dirk Cutter, okay? Statistically, this offense has performed very well, and I know that a lot of people are going to defend him and say that we should keep him as the head coach for the continuity, right? We don't want to fire coaches every 2 years. And because, right, technically the offense performs well. I don't see it that way. I see it as we've got a ton of weapons, and my grandmother could be calling plays right now and put up these kind of numbers. Obviously, I'm being a little sarcastic here, but my point is that I think I'm giving a little more credit to the talent that we have than the play calling. Minus the offensive line, okay? I don't even want to get into the offensive line. And I don't know, do I put that on the players? Do I put that on the coaches? But somebody's got to be held responsible, okay? And that'll lead me into Jameis Winston in a moment, but what do? Now, I think the only thing that might save Dirk Cutter's job would be if ownership, if they decide to keep Jason Light, I don't know. If they don't have a viable replacement available that they're going to bring in. Somebody that they look at and say, okay, this is an upgrade. Because if you fire the head coach, you better have an upgrade, okay? Otherwise, in 2 years or a year, we're going to be looking for another coach. So that might be the only thing that saves his job, is that there's nobody out there that they feel like is worthy to bring in and take over, and hopefully take over long term. But we've been dealing with this now for 10 plus years, so it is what it is, right? Jason Light, I don't know. I really don't know. I think if you fire Jason Light, though, I think you need to replace the GM before you replace the coach. That's just kind of how I like things, right? I think the GM needs to be the man, right? He's got to set everything in place, including the head coach. So we'll see. Jameis Winston, okay? Now, I really wasn't going to talk too much more Jameis Winston this year. I think it is what it is, right? Like, do we roll with him next year? Do we not roll with him? And I've said I see him through rose-colored glasses. I've tried to kind of peel him off a little bit and see that the dude does have flaws and be a little bit more open-minded when it comes to discussion on him. But when I watch a game like last night's game between the Eagles and the Rams, it just reiterates the point that it is so much more than just the quarterback. I'm not giving a pass to Jameis Winston, but there is so much more going on besides Jameis Winston on this team. And when so many people are quick to just throw shade at this guy and act as if he is the sole problem for why this team has been able to, not succeed for the last few years, it blows my mind. Because like I said, the play calling, the defense, the lack of running game. And I think yesterday on the ground, at times we looked halfway decent. But when you look at the entire season, okay, the body of the season, our running game has been horrible. And when I look at Jameis Winston coming out of Florida State, there was a constant theme. When he had Freeman at Florida State in his, redshirt freshman year, and then in his sophomore year, he struggled initially, and then all of a sudden, Dalvin Cook came on the scene. Jameis Winston looks a lot better, like a lot of quarterbacks, when he's got a good running game. And we just don't have it. And I've continued to say that this is not on the running backs necessarily. It's a combination, but it's on the offensive line. The run blocking is just horrible. And again, how much of this do I put on the head coach? In Dirk's case, I put a lot of it on the head coach. But I watch a game like last night's game. Nick Foles out here, right? Once again with the Eagles. Looking great. Is that really Nick Foles? Or is that the team around him balling out of control? The running game. Like, I'm watching the game last night, and they're talking about Nick Foles this, Nick Foles that. And I'm like, do you guys not see the offensive line performing out of their mind? Do you guys not see the running game? Like, did Bucs fans not see what our offensive line was doing the first 2 weeks of the season with Ryan Fitzpatrick in there? It was clear they were playing out of their minds. Yes, Ryan Fitzpatrick looked pretty good. He looked really good. But that offensive line was showing out. They didn't really have any running game then either, so I guess if you want to argue that point, then you can, and I'll take it. But it's frustrating. So when I hear Jameis Winston come out this past week talking about we're fighting for our head coach, I love it when players say we're fighting for our head coach, yet you're not fighting to get no win. You really want your boss to keep his job and get a win. Again, I mean, I don't know. I sound like a broken record, so it's like I don't even really want to talk about the Bucs right now, to be honest with you. I want to just focus on my other channel and not even get into Bucs discussion. But I feel as though, you know what, maybe somebody out there would want to hear me. It's just frustrating. It really is. If you're a Bucs fan, obviously you get it. It's frustrating. It is what it is. But I am curious if you could pick, right? Like, is there a head coach out there right now that you're looking at and saying this guy would be the guy to bring in? I think if you keep Jason Light, does he go after Bruce Arians? I've mentioned his name before. And I don't know why. There's just something about Bruce that I've kind of always liked. I've had some respect for him. And I know, obviously he didn't have, a ton of success in Arizona. I mean, he had his issues there. But I don't know. I liked him. Or are you a fan of like this new, you go with the trend of these young coaches? I know the Rams lost last night, but these young coaches, I don't know. I'm frustrated. I'm sure you're frustrated if you're a Bucs fan, obviously. But it is what it is. So that's about all I got. But let me know what you think, right? I'll talk to y'all later. I'm out.